What is up, everybody? Hope you guys are doing amazing out there. This is Cam Jennings from EpicConversions.com. Welcome to another episode of Thoughts on a Walk. And as you can see, I'm not walking today. I'll tell you why in a minute. Before that, I want you to know today we're going to be talking about branding. I want to talk to you guys about branding today. Now, it's about, I don't even know what the temperature is today, guys. I'm not walking today. I just stepped outside here in the good old All American garage to record this quick little podcast for you guys. Um, why am I not walking today? I've been having some back pain these last several weeks, probably from walking every day and from being fat. I'm about 270 pounds. When I started, I was 276, and now I'm down to like 270. So, but yeah, I've had some back pain that's been kind of creeping up as I've been walking. It seemed like it just gets a tiny bit worse every day, you know. Um, in the last couple days, I was sleeping on the floor, just trying to straighten my back out, you know. Nice flat surface. For some reason, that helps my back. But yeah, so anyways, I'm just kind of like taking it easy for the rest of this week. Probably not going to be walking the rest of this week. Let my back try to just kind of recover, and then I'll get back to it. I'm gonna be using the bike the rest of this week. Um, I'm gonna be using the bike the rest of this week, and try to get back to walking next week. Um, it does suck because I got a streak going. I got momentum on my side, but I'm hoping I can keep that momentum going just by using the bike. Um, the big catalyst for all this was the fact that I had to take some Tylenol yesterday for my back, and I'm like, okay, well, I need to kind of like really back off some of the activity I've been doing to kind of get this back to calm down, and that's kind of what's been going on with my back. Anyways, whatever. So I'm not gonna get into all that too much more than I already have. Let me talk to you guys about branding quickly. Um, so you'll notice branding is one of those kind of topical subjects that you don't hear a lot of people going deep on. You'll hear a lot of people talk about, they think about branding like, because the way I think about branding is different than how a lot of people probably think about branding. So I'll give you my quick 10-minute thoughts on a walk take on branding. A lot of people think about branding like, let me put signs up. Let me put like my logo on everything, right? Um, and that's kind of as far as I take the branding. But to me, branding is a little different, right? And the reason I think it's a little different is because it's so easy to brand everything topically in 2024. Everyone's branding everything, right? It's very easy to do that. So how do you actually create impact with your branding? Um, to me, you got to look at what's the point of the branding. It's for people to recognize your name, right? It's for people to look at your logo, look at your name, and to like recognize that. There's some brand equity there. You know what I mean? Like they recognize your name, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. Because when you talk about branding and you want people to be able to recognize your logo, recognize your name, it's not just that you want them to be able to recognize your logo, recognize your name. You want them to associate it with some kind of an emotion, some kind of a good emotion. Like if I had a sneaker company and people saw my logo, I want them to have some top of mind awareness for my brand, but I want it to be like a good top of mind awareness. I want them to look at it, recognize it, and think authority on sneakers, high quality sneakers, right? I don't want them to look at it and think scammy, scammy trash sneakers that are going to fall apart 3 days after I buy them, right? Because both of those things exist. People associate different emotions subconsciously with different brands, right? You got cheap brands, you got cheap, good quality brands, You got expensive brands. You got brands that are expensive, but people don't think are worth the money. You got scammy brands. Think about a lot of these cryptocurrencies. A lot of these branded cryptocurrencies from a couple years ago, you don't hear about them anymore. They did all this branding for their cryptocurrency that was out everywhere, and then it fell through the floor. And what did they do? It left a negative taste in people's mouths for all cryptocurrencies. Of course, a few survived, like Bitcoin. And, of course, there's always altcoins. But I think a lot of people see crypto as a casino now, more than a couple years ago. A couple years ago, people were talking about cryptocurrency like the future. You don't hear a lot of people talking about cryptocurrency like the future anymore. And I'm sure that's going to swing back around. But the point is, the perception of the brand, the perception of individual brands of those altcoins, what branding they had, kind of went through the mat. It kind of went through the floor. So like when you think about like your brand and how to brand your stuff, and you think about like how do I get people to associate my stuff with a positive emotion and not a negative emotion. It goes beyond just putting your logo on everything. It goes beyond just like every time you do a YouTube video, say on behalf of this brand or that brand, whatever. It goes beyond that, right? Because that's good to do those things, put your logo on things. It's good. Like one thing I used to do, well, I still do this. It's not that I used to do, I still do this. But I put my brand on every single product I release, right? When I put out a new product, the product always has a cover. It always says Epic Conversions Presents. It's Epic Conversions logo, Epic Conversions name somewhere on that product always. And I've been doing that for a long time. And, when I had affiliates promoting for me and promoting my stuff, they would take that cover and spread it around everywhere. It would give me even more brand recognition. But all that doesn't mean anything when it comes to associating my brand with an emotion. When it comes to associating my brand with either a positive or a negative feeling associated with what I do. To get that, which is the other part of branding, in my opinion, the deeper part of branding, it takes a certain kind of movement. Like you have to move in a certain way. I'll give you an example. I do customer support, emails pretty much every single day. Every single day, someone's reaching out to me about something. Now, I'm not going to complain about that. I feel like that's a blessing that I would actually have enough people buying my stuff to where every single day someone's reaching out to me about something. That's a blessing. That's a good problem to have. But I take it a step further. Over the last several years, what I've started doing was I've started replying to people when I have time with a simple video, simple live stream video, unlisted, so no one else can see it but that person. I address them personally, and I walk them through the problem they're having, right, and try to help them solve it. Now, if you do that kind of thing just a few times a week, spend the extra 5-10 minutes making that little quick, you pull it open your webcam, and most of us who work online have a webcam set up on our computer already. You spend just a few minutes doing a simple little video like that. That right there is going to start associating positive emotion with your brand. People are going to remember that you did that because not a lot of people are doing stuff like that. Just little things like that is what you have to do. The things that you say on social media, like sometimes people just go off on rants on social media. They just go off on rants. They go off on rants about things that aren't related to their business at all. And I've made this mistake before. And they get political sometimes, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to understand when you get political, when you go off on rants about stuff in your personal life or whatever you do, all those things are contributing towards how people feel about your brand, right? And that's all part of branding. I remember a few years ago, there was this guy, I knew he was trying to start this. He was trying to start this software company. I'm not going to go into it too much detail, but it was a particular kind of software, and he wanted me to go into business with him. But like I said, yeah, let me take a look at this. I will consider it. This looks interesting. And I remember, I'll never forget this. We had just had a call. And we were talking about it. I said, give me a few days to think about it and look at some of the software, check it out, see how it works. Because I'm kind of weird about software. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a software guy. I don't like software, to be honest. So for me to put my name behind a piece of software, I really got to believe in it. So anyways, while I was looking at it, just in those few days while I was looking at it, this guy's on Facebook talking about bipolar this and, problems he's having with that and blah, blah, blah. All these personal problems and stuff, right? And I reached out to him privately and I said, hey, man, listen, if we were going to do business together, like, that's not good for your brand, dude. You can't be on, like, Facebook talking all this crazy stuff, man. That's not good for your brand. And it's like, as I was sitting there saying that, it was like I knew that my decision was being made. Like I wasn't going to be able to work with this person, and that sounds pretty bad. That sounds judgmental. Oh, Cam, you can't work with someone who has bipolar? What's wrong with you? How are you going to treat people with mental illness like that or whatever? I don't care what people think. It's not personal. It's about money. And the thing about it is, again, that's just another situation right there where someone doesn't understand branding, right? It's not just about like surface level, slap your logo on everything. It's about like a deeper understanding of, how you affect your brand and how people see your brand and what is the emotion behind the top of mind awareness people have for your brand. What's the emotion behind it? Because you control that emotion, especially if you're a solopreneur. If you're the only one, who makes any movement for your business, then you are 100% in control of the emotion behind the top of mind awareness people have for your brand, right? You control that with how you handle your support emails. You control that with how you move on social media. You control that with the content you put out. You control that in various ways that goes deeper than just slapping your logo on everything, right? People don't forget in 2024 here, just because like you put a logo on this content and then you get on like, Instagram and don't put a logo on something and just talk a bunch of crazy stuff, like, people are still going to associate that crazy stuff with your brand. Just because you didn't put your logo on it doesn't matter. People associate you with that brand. So, again, I'm going to get off here, but I just wanted to kind of reiterate, when you think about branding, like it goes deeper than just slapping your logo on everything. Everything you do, especially if you're like the face of your brand, if you're like the face of the franchise, so to speak, a little Madden lingo for you. If you're a solopreneur, you're the face of the franchise for the most part. So everything you do is going to be associated with that brand. So I think it's important to kind of like, try to be a little bit more measured with the kind of content that you're putting on social media. It doesn't mean you shouldn't be yourself. It doesn't mean you can't be yourself. But it does mean that like you got to be careful with all the negativity. You got to be careful with some of the things you say, unless you're okay with that being associated with your brand. Now, I know some entrepreneurs who are okay with the things they put out there being associated with their brand. Whether it's negativity, whether it's political views, whatever, they use it to their advantage, and that's fine. But I tell you what, I don't know anybody doing that who doesn't realize they're doing that. The stuff I'm talking about is not that. I'm not talking about calculated movements where you know what you're doing. I'm talking about people just going off the rails, putting things out there whenever the mood strikes them, and it's kind of frenetic, and it kind of makes people feel a general sense of chaos towards their brand. Right? A general sense of possible negativity, possible chaos. Like, again, this is nuanced. I'm not talking about people who are trying to repel certain kinds of people and attract other kinds of people. That's not what I'm talking about. There are marketers out there are businesses out there who are trying to attract only certain kinds of people and repel others. That's different. That's part of branding. But again, this conversation, it's deeper than just like a simple little thoughts on a walk video. This is probably something I'll talk about inside my mentorship club. If you're interested in that, just go over to epicconversions.com. Scroll down the bottom. You'll find weekly mentorship club down there. If you can't find it, you're not ready to be in it. So it's at epicconversions.com. You can look for it over there. So anyways, look, that's all I got. If anything I've talked about today has resonated with you, be sure to get over to epicconversions.com. Join my free newsletter. I'd like to think I put my best free content out by email. Not by a random talk to my phone video. So anyways, I hope you're doing amazing out there. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of Thoughts on a Walk. Peace.